Hi guys, it is time to start part 2 of the Throne of Glass reading vlog, and I have my book mail here. I've had this for like a week and I've been waiting to film this part to open it, so... Oh, it has like a little bit of a scratch at the bottom, but that's okay. But we did go to Dallas yesterday or day before yesterday, and I bought the next 2 books in the series, so now I'm like set for the next couple vlogs. So these are I'm gonna try to get these out quickly, like close together. I don't know if I'll read anything in between because I did take a break between Assassin's Blade to read Onyx Storm, which I am working on that video right now of my reading experience, and I loved Onyx Storm. Like, I thought I was gonna hate it, but I loved it. But now I get to start this. Last night I actually downloaded the sample on Kindle so that I could read a little bit of it. And I read 1 chapter and it just got me so excited to get back into it. But also, if you read this book first and didn't read Assassin's Blade, I would be so absolutely completely confused if I was reading the first chapter of this, because it's like about her being in the salt mines and stuff. But if I was reading this for the first time, I'd be like, where are we? Who are these people? Like, what is happening? So I do see the purpose in reading Assassin's Blade first, but I also do not see how people could have not read that first. But I'm excited to get started. I need to, what is it called when you like push the pages down so the spine doesn't break? I need to do that so that doesn't happen. And then I need to pick out a highlighter. I guess I'm gonna do blue since this one was like mainly blue. I'm so excited to get started with this one. And honestly, this book feels so small compared to Onyx Storm, which it's still 406 pages, so maybe not. That's not too bad. I saw, when I was picking up those books, I saw the last book in this. I forgot what it's called. It's like Kingdom of Dawn. I just made that up. Oh, Kingdom of Ash. I wasn't that far off. Kingdom of Ash. I saw that and it was like 4 of these thick. Like, how many pages is that? I'm actually scared. And I also realized that in my last vlog, I was saying Selena and it's Selena. So we'll fix that this time around. I can't wait. Let's get started. Before you get too far into the video, I just want to give you a warning that I did read Assassin's Blade before I read Throne of Glass, so there are spoilers for both books in this video. So if you have not read both books, click off this video or they will be spoiled for you. Also, if you're only here for the review and not for my reading experience as I go along, then skip to this number. And I'll just have my final thoughts in review of the book and not all the quotes that I liked throughout the book. I'm here for an update on Throne of Glass, but I am in my classroom and I haven't done a classroom update since I did my how much I can realistically read in a week as a teacher video, which that video was so fun. So if you haven't seen that, you should go back and watch that. But I am on page 46, which is chapter 5. I'm almost done with chapter 5 and I'm enjoying it so far. They have just taken her from the mines and put her in the castle and have told her that she is gonna compete amongst the other assassins and whatnot, and she's kind of just getting her bearings on where she's at. So nothing really has happened right now, but I am so happy to be back in this world with this character. I'm still upset about Sam, but that's okay. So hopefully I'll read another 50 or so pages today. They're debating on having a half day, so maybe I will have more time today because it's very icy outside, but that's my update for right now. I have decided that I'm going to use one of these 2 blues, but I'm not sure what will match this the best. Okay, looking at it, the bottom one, which is this one, does match better, but I kind of like the way the other one looks better. So we're still undecided. Yesterday I only read to page 58 because I only read a little bit while I was at school, but I'm going to show you some of the sentences I've highlighted. I'm not really highlighting scenes, I'm just random lines that I like for no reason most of the time. So the first one was whenever they were traveling back and she like wakes up from her nightmare and then the prince sees her and the line says, there was something so sad about her sitting so still with her legs against her chest, the moonlight coloring her silver hair. And I just like that because it kind of showed that he is feeling sympathetic towards the assassin. And then I just think it's funny that Selena is like so against the glass castle, and I just highlighted the line that says only an idiot would walk in a house made of glass. And then whenever she's taking a tour, she says, the library library, those two words were like a shot of lightning. On the next page, he says, I didn't know assassins like to read. Cal called, if she were to die now, it would be in complete bliss. And then he says, like, she's asking why there's no guards in the library, and she's thinking, oh, how wrong he is. Libraries are full of ideas, perhaps the most dangerous and powerful of all weapons. I just like that she loves the library so much, and now I'm inspired to go find a library this grand, because I feel like I've never seen in person, like, a super extraordinary library. I've definitely seen pictures online or on Pinterest or whatever. And then I love that they're writing notes, like, the letters to each other. I'm just like, I wrote next to it, and like, I'm so here for love letters. And I also highlighted the beginning of his letters where it says, the most true assassin. Like, does he have a crush? I think he has a crush, but I am here for a little romance between them two, even though I'm so confused. I'm not confused because I know it's because Assassin's Blade was written after Throne of Glass was written, but there has been no mention of Sam. But she was thinking about Sam so much in Assassin's Blade, like, I can't believe she wouldn't be thinking about him now. I put on my to-do list for me to read for an hour today, which I probably already have because I did read, like, during my last class where I didn't have anything to do. But I am wanting to read another hour tonight. Hi guys, it is now Sunday night and I am here for an update because I'm a little bit behind. I have not read any today or yesterday. I didn't read any yesterday because we had a flight because Cameron is starting to work on his private pilot license, and so I just went up with him and it was really fun. And then we went to Dallas after, so I just didn't have time to read. But on Thursday and Friday I read a lot. So on Thursday I got to chapter 15. So I'm gonna read all of the quotes between my last update and chapter 15. There's like 7 tabs in these 50 pages. So I'm like tabbing like crazy. I did not tab Onyx Storm as much as I tabbed this book or Assassin's Blade. I think I just like her lines, like some of the things she said. Like, they're not really profound things. I'm just, whenever I chuckle a little bit, I'm like, oh, that's cute. One of them is whenever they're coming out of the meeting with all of the competitors, and Dorian had left a little bit early, and they run into him in the hallway, and Chow says, what are you doing? And Dorian pushes off the wall, waiting for you, of course. It's so funny because I just like his attitude. I'm really enjoying the kind of flirty, kind of butting heads between Selena and Chow. But this is one part where he's like, you're an assassin. And she's like, if I say I'm a jewel thief, will you treat me with more courtesy? And I like them because I think they're so... I like the budding relationship, but at the same time, it seems like Chow and Dorian are both getting feelings for her. And I'm not trying to read a love triangle, so I don't know if that's what I'm getting myself into, but like, I like all 3 of them just butting heads. I think it's so funny. Next. Oh my gosh, this part, she's like threatening, who is she talking to? She's talking to a child, and she's like, you'll be sweating when I skin you alive and squish your eyeballs beneath my feet. And I don't know about you, but for me, it is way too soon after Sam to be talking about anything to have to do with eyeballs, because I still cannot stop thinking about him getting his eyeballs ripped out before he died. Like, that's literally all I think about all the time. I've thought about it so many times since I finished Assassin's Blade, and it's so sad. And she says eyeballs so much. I have a later tab that I'm like, okay, I'm a little concerned about Sarah's fixation on eyeballs. And then, oh, this is when Chow and Selena are talking again, and he says, on the contrary, I might not have as much time to read as you and Dorian do, but it doesn't mean I don't love books any less. And I said, just a bunch of book lovers. And then when Chow's leaving, she says, yes, well, hopefully you'll read something of quality before I see you again. He sniffed the air and walked out of the room. Hopefully you'll take a bath before I see you again. So funny. Their relationship is really fun. I have so many like dog ears, it's kind of getting insane at this point. This is later when Selena is talking to, who is she talking to? Oh, when she's translating for Nehemiah. Is that how you say? I don't know. And then she's like kind of thinking to herself, and she's like, she's never had any friends. The one she had often disappointed her, sometimes with devastating consequences. And she learned that summer with the silent assassin of the Red Desert. And I underlined sometimes and wrote every time, because like every single time anyone has gotten close to her, it's been like disappointing and so sad. And then this is whenever Chow is leaving Selena, and I don't like this line, but I highlighted it, and he says he'd be ready when the time came. He'd be waiting. He just wondered which one of them would survive. Whenever he's talking about when Selena would like attack them or something, or like turn on them. And I said, no, I just want them to be friends because I really don't want her to leave. So that's my update to chapter 15. And that ends like right before they do the target test. So I will pick up there with my next update. Although I would love for these updates to be when I look presentable, it just doesn't seem like that's possible. So I'm just gonna keep going, and y'all will just have to look past my appearance. We ended with chapter 15. They were starting another test. Oh, this is whenever they have the 5 targets to shoot an arrow at. And then I did underline a line in chapter 16, and it just says, oh, when Selena and Chow were working out in the morning and she threw up once again, and he was like, I told you not to eat before we left. And she says, are you done being smug? He says, are you done vomiting up your guts? And she said, for the time being, perhaps I won't be so courteous next time and I'll just vomit all over you instead. He says, if you can catch me, and then he gets a half smile. And I just like that they're getting closer, but at the same time, she's getting closer to Chow and she's getting closer to the prince at the same time. So, I don't know who. I feel like I want her to like the prince, but I also really like Chow. But like, one chapter I read, I was like, is Chow a bad guy? Like, is he suspicious? I don't know. But then we get to chapter 16. Oh, and this is when they were like training, and then a guy tries to escape and they kill him on the spot, and all of the other competitors are like, wow, they were like really being serious about that. They have started talking about Dorian and like courting and stuff more. So I feel like him and Selena should be getting a little close, which they did talk about it later, which I'll get to. And then we get to chapter 18, page 136, and she has finally mentioned Sam. I have been waiting for 130 pages for us to address the elephant in the room that I cannot stop thinking about, mainly the fact that Sam got his eyeballs ripped out. But she has not said a single thought about Sam all of this time, and now she finally says it. And this is when she's thinking about wanting to kiss Dorian. I'm not over Sam, obviously. And then chapter 19, when Chow and Dorian are talking, Chow's kind of saying like, for your safety, you kind of need to like stay away from her, but like he's obviously not. And Dorian's like, why would she kill me? I think she likes being pampered. If she hasn't attempted to escape or kill anyone, then why would she do it now? You worry too much. And then Chow says, it's my occupation to worry. And Damien, is his name Damien? Dorian. Then you'll have gray hair before you're 25, and Sir Dothian certainly will not fall in love with you. He says, nonsense, what are you talking about? But if she does try to escape, which she won't, then she'll break your heart. You'll be forced to throw her in the dungeons and hunt her down or kill her. And then Chow's like, Dorian, I don't like her. So I think I just said that mixed up. So Dorian is telling Chow that he has a crush on Selena, basically. Which I like that he knows this, but at the same time, he has to realize that he is falling for Selena at the same time, because they are getting closer. And then a little later, she mentions Sam again, and I feel like she's starting to mention Sam a lot more. Like in the last couple chapters I've read, she's mentioned him a lot more. She just is thinking like, what would Sam think of this? Like, what would he think of like the competition that she's in, and like how would he feel about it? And then she just says that Sam was betrayed, and sometimes the absence hit her so hard that she forgot to breathe. And honestly, same, because if I saw the aftermath of what Sam looked like after he was tortured to death, I would probably not be okay, because I am just thinking about it and I haven't stopped thinking about it for like a couple weeks. So this is later when Dorian goes down to Selena's chambers. Is it called chambers? Her room. And they're kind of talking normal, and they start getting in a little bit of an argument. It's when she's playing piano. Someone just walked in on it. So she's like a little embarrassed, and then she's like telling him to leave, and he goes, good night, Sir Dothian. And he looked around the room and grinned. Tell me something before I leave. This mystery lover of yours, he doesn't live in the castle, does he? Because she said she was thinking of a lover while she was playing. And he instantly knew that he said the wrong thing when some of the light vanished from her eyes. Good night, she said a bit coldly. And then later she says his name was Sam. And when he leaves, like, he says he couldn't banish her heart-wrenching music from his mind, even when he burned his mother's list of eligible maids, even when he read a book long into the night, even when he finally fell asleep. So he's like thinking about her so much that he threw away the list of possible suitors. Wait, is suitors for women too, or is that only men? Someone should let me know, because I don't know. And I just put, this is so sad because talking about Sam makes me so sad. But at the same time, I'm glad we're finally acknowledging it, because I'm like, did she just forget about him, or is she like so traumatized that she's like not gonna say anything? But she's talking about him now, which is good. I'm realizing that I'm so happy that I started highlighting, because I went back and looked in Assassin's Blade, and I just read some of like the random quotes that I highlighted, and I can like remember like the scenes and stuff, so I can actually remember the book without having to go back and read the entire book. So I wonder if I had been highlighting or tabbing my books in the past, like how easy it would be for me to go back and like relive a little bit of the book without having to reread the whole thing, because there's only one book that I've ever reread multiple times. So other than that, I've only read all of my books one time, but only like maybe 3 of them I highlighted, and that's not saying much. So I really like being able to look back in the book. So if you do not highlight your books or annotate, I definitely suggest it, especially if you like collecting books. Sorry, my throat is like barely hanging on, but if you like collecting books and you want to make your books more you, then this is like such a fun way to do it. The next highlight I have, she wants to go to the feast, but like everyone else gets to go to the feast and not her, which she finds out later, which is so weird. But she's like, as a friend, you can either bring me alone or keep me company. And he goes, friend? She's talking to Chow, and she blushed. Well, scalding escort, or is a better description, or reluctant acquaintance if you prefer. I just think that's funny, because I like their relationship and like their banter, where they're kind of being mean to each other, but they're also kind of being nice. But as I started reading more, like after this chapter, I feel like they have not been spending very much time together, and she's been spending a lot more time with Dorian than Chow, like in the later chapters. And I think this part, I didn't highlight it in this little chunk, but I believe this is when she went down the stairwell in her room, like the secret passage, and then had the dream where the first queen came and like said that there was evil in the castle that she needed to find. Which whenever I first read that, I was like, wait, what is happening? Because this is like a complete change of plot. I honestly have no idea what this series is about. Like, I couldn't summarize it other than what I've read. And so I don't know if it is about Fae. I think I'm getting confused with Court of Thorns and Roses, that's about Fae. But the first queen was half Fae and half human, and now she's coming to Selena in her dreams, plural. It's like telling her that the castle's in danger and that there's something really evil lurking around and that she needs to find it before it gets too far. Which I was like, okay, change of plot. But I'm still really enjoying the book. Like, I'm having fun. This is whenever they're playing, Dorian and her are playing pool in her room, and she's like, if you don't stop feeling and start instructing, I'm gonna rip your eyes out and replace them with some billard balls, which I think billard is pool, I'm pretty sure. But I highlighted this because she has to stop talking about eyeballs. I'm a little concerned about Sarah and how much she's mentioning eyeballs, like Sam's eyeballs, Selena threatening to rip people's eyeballs out. And when I told my husband this, he was like, well, maybe she's saying that to other people because she's like traumatized from seeing Sam get his eyeballs ripped out, and she's like kind of subconsciously thinking about it, which was a very good point. But at the same time, she says eyeballs referring to other people too, and like the eyeball eater and stuff like that. I just think it's a little too weird. So I'm hoping the theme of mentioning eyeballs ends very soon. But it may be just because I'm traumatized from Sam, because literally that's the only thing I think about when I think about Sam, is that his eyeballs were ripped out. Later, she says that she wished Sam was there, and I just started highlighting every time she mentioned Sam because I miss Sam and I feel so bad for the way he died. I think this is kind of up to the point where I read today. Today I had to give a Telepass test, which basically I was just a test monitor, and so I couldn't do any, like I couldn't be on my computer or anything. So I just read the whole time, which I don't even think I read that much, but I think I probably read 30, 40, 50 pages-ish. I don't really know. Later, Dorian comes to her chambers again and is like just talking to her, and then she's like, he's asking like where she got the ring from, and it's from Chow, but Selena knows that Chow wouldn't want him to know that. And then he's like, do you want to play billiards? Selena says she could use another lesson. She very much wanted to stand close to him and have her skin warm under his breath. She liked that. Worse than that, she realized that she liked him. So we're having feelings. I would like her to stop hanging out with Chow, like, ever, and just hang out with Dorian. They become all lovey-dovey. Okay, this is the last highlight I have for now. Oh, this is whenever Selena is sick from her period. She says, go away, I feel like dying. And he says, "No fair maiden should die alone. Shall I read to you in your final moments? What story would you like?" She snatched her handbag. "How about the story of the idiotic prince who wouldn't leave the assassin alone?" He says, "I love that story. It's such a happy ending too. Why, the assassin was really fragging, I don't know what that word is, but her illness in order to get the prince's attention. Who would have guessed it? She's a clever girl, and the bedroom scene is so lovely. It's worth the read, though, through all of their ceaseless banter." Oh, that's the part that I was gonna highlight, is their ceaseless banter, because he's like kind of realizing, like, what is it called when you I am it's not realized, like, if I like admit, no, I don't know. I wish my brain worked. I can't think of the word because English is not my strong suit, and sadly it's the only language I speak, so gotta deal with that. But I just think it's funny that he's like saying that they have ceaseless banter. Like, you as a reader, they're like, you're thinking it, but I feel like it's kind of like a little bit of breaking the fourth wall, but not really. But I am now on page 260, which is chapter 34, and there is a total of 404 pages, which I thought I had, that feels like less than that. I don't know. But I'm actually going to go lay down and read until I go to sleep tonight. But I am enjoying this book. I wish I was reading it faster, but I just haven't been reading. I didn't read Saturday or Sunday or Monday or yesterday. We had a tennis tournament, so I didn't read any, which is why I'm a little bit sunburnt. And then I don't know why I didn't read on Monday. What was I doing on Monday? What day was Monday? Honestly, I don't know. I'm very confused. Oh, we had testing Monday too, but I wasn't giving it. I was just watching the kids who weren't testing. So I only read like 2 chapters maybe. But I'm gonna go read. And we need to try to finish this book by Saturday. Like, latest finish it Saturday. That's my update for now. And now I'll see you guys in a little bit. It is now Thursday, and I obviously just got out of the shower, so I wish I was more presentable, but I'm on chapter 49, which means I'm like so close to being done. I'm on page 362 out of 403 pages, so I'm like so close to being done. So I'm gonna sit here and finish this. I did get to read a decent amount today. I don't feel like I was reading super fast, but I did get to read, and I've been getting a little bit sunburnt, which, speaking of burnt, I was cooking and I was on the phone with my mom, and I took something off the burner, and then I was going to the other burner, like the other pot, and I put my phone down on the stove, and it like burnt the receipts in the back of my phone, that's the only thing that burnt, but these receipts are from our tennis tournament that I need to turn in, so now they're like half burnt and you can't really read them, so that's unfortunate. But at least it was only the receipts and not like my actual phone, because I fully just set it down on the burner. Like, I have no idea what I was thinking. I'm gonna try to find what like I highlighted today. I just highlighted the part where they said they called her necklace the Eye of Elena. I don't know if that's how you said it. I've never actually said that word in my head. I need to work on that. Whenever I see names of anything, people, places, things that I've never heard of, I just see the first letter and I just like connect the dots, you know? I never fully pronounce the word in my head, which is why I can never like say like this character did this, because I don't know their actual name. I don't know if that makes any sense or if anyone else reads like that, but that's my dilemma, which it doesn't bother me when I'm reading because like I know what's going on, but for conversing about it, it makes it a little bit hard. But I just said again with the eyes because everything is revolving around eyeballs. And then I underlined this part. Oh, when they're at the ball and they're like dancing together, and this guy like goes up to Chow and was like, is he with her? Like talking about Selena and Dorian. And then Chow says, the Lady Lillian belongs to herself and no one else. So she's not with him? And Chow says no. And then Odo says, that's strange. Chow says, why? Odo says, because it looks like he's in love with her. In love with her, you say? Oh, this is when they kissed. He says, I'm not interested in courting ladies. And then kissed her. And they're all lovey-dovey now. And then when he's leaving, he says, consequences be dang. He'd find a way to make it work. He'd find a way to be with her. He had to. And then it goes to Chow being like, looking at her while she's on her balcony. And honestly, it just gave me the creep vibes because he's not really, like, at first I would thought he was going to be, like, a little love triangle, love interest person, but now he's just kind of creepy. And, like, he obviously knows that Dorian and Selena are, like, getting closer, so this is his cue to, like, back up a little bit and let it go, but instead he decides to stare at her from the garden while she's on her balcony. So I thought that was weird, so I just put a question mark by it because I was like, what is happening? I think the way she wrote this, she was wanting it to be like a little bit more secretive of who the bad guy was, basically. But she reads this part of the book that says, the beast will grant you the victim's strength. And then it goes on to like try to say that it's Nehemiah who's wanting the strength, and Celaena's like, but why would Nehemiah want it? And I do not think this was fitting for the book because Celaena is like obviously like super smart, so I feel like she would have put it together, because I literally, the first thing I did was write Cain question mark, and then you go down a couple paragraphs and it's like, but Nehemiah wouldn't do this because this and this, and it's like, yeah, obviously she wouldn't, and like you're smart enough to like put the pieces together, because they've already mentioned before that Cain seems to be getting bigger every time she sees him, so like obviously he's the bad guy. I know she wrote this when she was really young, so I feel like that may be like a little part of it, but this part was just like so blatantly obvious, and she was like trying to make it not. Oh, this part is like right after she leaves the little chamber, like she ran for her life and she got bit on her hand, and now she's like basically what? And now she's like basically bleeding out in her room, but then Nehemiah is there, which honestly is a little bit strange, like why is Nehemiah there? But moving on, Nehemiah heals her with wart marks, which is crazy bonkers silly. And then they're like kind of talking, and Nehemiah's like, please tell me what happened. And so she does, and then they get a little bit close, but I'm a little bit like, I'm still skeptical of this friendship. Like, I know she's like feeling like it's a true friend, but I'm still a little nervous about it. But I'm glad she saved her life, because if not, she would be dead. And then I highlighted the scene where she's telling Nox to like get out of here, like he needs to leave, like if he's obviously not going to be the champion, and if he's not facing death as his other option, that he needs to like run away from the castle as fast as he can. And he actually does, which I kind of admire. Like, I'm glad he like just fully trusted her. Oh, this little sense. Dorian is thinking, and he's like, because now, no matter how he might have once envisioned his future, or who he thought he'd spend it with, he couldn't imagine being with anyone else, wanting anyone else. So he's like in love. Okay, we're in the last 2 tabs I have right now. Oh, this is the part. Okay, guys, I'm so silly. This is the part where it just says her past and future were seated on the glass throne. And then I was like, how did I just now realize that this is called Throne of Glass? Because the castle is made of glass. Like, how did I not put that? Like, I've gotten through 340, almost 350 pages of this, and a whole other book that talked about the glass castle, and I did not put 2 and 2 together. That was a little bit silly, and I felt kind of dumb when I got to that. And then the last thing I have highlighted so far is where Celaena is saying, no matter what happens, I want to thank you to Chow. And he's like, for what? She's like, for making my freedom mean something. And I just like that little sweet moment between them. So now I'm going to read starting on chapter 49, which means I have 37 pages left, I'm pretty sure. So I have no idea how long this is going to take me, but I'm going to sit here and read. Also, I had to stop reading like right at the part where Celaena's literally getting beat to death because my class ended and I had to go to my tennis class. So I like had to stop reading. But it was just very unfortunate timing to like have to stop in the middle of something like that. Also, I'm so annoyed that the girl poisoned her, but I do like how she like connected it back to the poisons test, which that was like the one poison that she couldn't pinpoint what it was. But I'm still a little annoyed that that actually happened. Dang. I was kind of hoping they would kill Cain like this, but I kind of wasn't expecting it. So they just stabbed him in the heart. Okay, I have finished reading Throne of Glass, and I have a few more quotes that I want to share before I give you my final thoughts. But the last thing I mentioned was that Cain got killed, which was crazy because he just randomly got stabbed, which I definitely saw coming, but at the same time I wasn't expecting it. After everyone like kind of gets dragged back to their parts of the castle, Dorian is thinking to himself, and this is what it says. He was done with politics and intrigue. He loved her, and no empire, no king, no earthly fear would keep him from her. No, if they tried to take her from him, he'd rip the world apart with his bare hands. For some reason, that didn't terrify him. That line pulled out my heartstrings. And then later, whenever the king is talking with Parrington, and they're like talking about how they were using the magic to persuade the girl's mind is so crazy. It says, Kane proved the physical transformative effects, and Calton proved the ability to influence thoughts and emotions. I would like to test the full ability and hone the minds of a few others. And I just put not good because that's honestly terrifying. So I guess that's what the next couple of books are going to be about. And then the last thing I highlighted was where the queen told Selena, you could rattle the stars, just because I thought that's a really cute line. But that's all of my quotes from this. I took out a few that were kind of just like mediocre, but I left in a lot. As you can tell, I absolutely tabbed the mess out of this book. I just really enjoyed it, and I am about to start the next one, so the next vlog is going to come out next week. I'm kind of testing out different days of the week to see what day is best to post, but if y'all have any preferences, comment down below what days you want me to post on. I'm giving this book a 4.5-star rating. I'm like pretty confident on that. At first I was thinking I should give it a 5-star because I enjoyed it, but it didn't give me the same feeling as Assassin's Blade did or Onyx Storm, so that's why I'm doing it at 4.5. It's still such a good book, but I think Assassin's Blade just provoked a lot more emotion out of me, and that's why. I also hate that she didn't end up with Dorian in the end. Like, she told Dorian that she couldn't be with him, but for what reason? Like, Dorian has confessed his love, like, in his mind, like 3 times. And I guess she has no idea, so she wouldn't know. But then Selena tells him that she can't be with him because she's a king's assassin, which is so not true. So I'm a little bit upset about that, and I don't really like Chow, so her being all buddy-buddy with Chow is like, because he's a little creepy. Just from that one scene of him watching her on the balcony. Oh, my sister's FaceTiming me.
Hey.
Hi.
Hi, YouTube.
But that is all of my thoughts on Throne of Glass. I'm really curious to know what y'all's favorite book out of the entire series is. So comment down below your without any spoilers, because we cannot spoil this, but without any spoilers, what was your favorite book from the entire series? Right now, obviously, mine is Assassin's Blade because I've only read these 2, but I am going to start Crown of Midnight very soon, and I'm going to post that vlog next week. So if you want to see more in-depth reading of the Throne of Glass series, don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.